Okay, so we are rolling, and I am here with another Spin Masters DC Comics Batman figure. This is from the 3 3/4 inch line. Uh, it looks like currently they're calling this line Bat Tech. So I'm guessing because of technology that Batman has, and that results in some of these characters. Maybe you can see in the little picture of Robin there. They've got these weird little blue lines all over them, which is why I didn't buy a Batgirl figure, even though I've been looking forward to Batgirl for a very long time and was psyched when I first saw her. And then I saw there were these stupid blue lines all over her, so they ruined her. They ruined Batgirl. But thankfully, I guess because she's a villain, Harley Quinn is free of all that nonsense. So yeah, I've got three of these 3 3/4 inch Spin Master figures to review today, and I will parcel these out over the next few days. So we've got something to watch for the next few days. What are the other two figures? Well, see when I get to them. So hang on a second. I guess stupid antivirus pop up. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up Harley Quinn. Now, this is obviously based on like more of a post New 52 kind of Harley Quinn. This is as I prefer her to be blonde. Sometimes they grow with like the half black, half red hair. I don't like that so much. I like her to be blonde. It's a character thing. It's honestly a character thing because one of my favorite lines that Harley Quinn ever had on Batman the Animated Series was when she said to Batman, "You probably thought I was just another bubble-headed blonde bimbo. Well, the joke's on you, Batman. I'm not even a real blonde." That kind of defined that character for me in a lot of ways. So let's go ahead and open her up. Real quick first, though, let's take a look at the... there's not a lot of artwork on these. It's, the typical sort of dull DC Comics approved packaging art like they have these days. But it's a little more slightly interesting because at least they have like a Gotham City backdrop behind Harley. I don't know if you can tell because of the reflection on the package there, but it does look nice. And there's a nice picture of Batman up here that unfortunately would get ruined when you open up the packaging. So if I can figure out how to open up the packaging. I know I've done these before, but it's been a while. I think the last one I did like this was the Riddler. Let's see, okay. So I went to try to open up the back here, where you're supposed to open up to get the accessories out, and I wound up just tearing the plastic tray on the inside in half. So, guess I didn't know my own strength. So let's see what accessories we get with Harley. And here is a gun, which looks kind of almost like a flamethrower or something. So it's obviously a made-up fantasy weapon. You wouldn't want to give these to your G.I. Joes or anything, but I think it's a pretty fitting gun for Harley Quinn. It's nice and big and cartoonish. It kind of reminds me of the court gun that she has sometimes. I probably rather just had the court gun, but whatever. It's still not a bad accessory. And then you have a mallet, which again is kind of a traditional Harley Quinn kind of weapon. So, and it's got a star, which is actually cut out. So you can actually see through the star on there all the way. I'm not sure if that has any sort of design to it. It looks like it's molded out of blue plastic, but it's got like this kind of purple sheen all over it. It's not really showing up very well on the camera. It just looks almost kind of like a gunmetal color, but trust me, the light glancing off of it coming towards me, it's purple. So, and then I look at it from the top and it's kind of blue. It's a really interesting paint scheme they got on that. So, and then last but not least, we have Harley Quinn's trusty baseball bat, which is a little undersized, I think. But, it's nice to be represented. That's the problem with these accessories, I guess, because of the gimmick of fitting them into these little bins. A lot of the times they'll wind up being kind of undersized. Like, especially if it's something like a samurai sword or the battle staff that Robin is supposed to come with. Yeah, just ruined that picture of Batman. So, If there's a downside to these figures, I think it's the packaging. I would like to see a little more artwork on the packaging, a more interesting design. You know, despite the malfunction that I had here, I'm guessing most kids probably wouldn't have, torn the bin in half like I did. So I can't really blame the toy manufacturer on that. So there's Harley out of her little plastic package. You can hear my cat caterwauling back there. It's not really my cat, it's my roommate's cat, but you know what I mean. So, and now we got Harley out. And let's take a closer look at her now that we have her out of the package. I'm going to tilt this down a little bit more that way. So, there she is. And, they did a nice job with the head sculpt, but she looks really serious. She doesn't have, like, a big grin like I would expect Harley Quinn to have. She looks, a little more sort of, like, on the determined side of neutral, I guess. There's a lot of good detail in the sculpt. Lots of little diamonds sculpted onto it. You see the diamonds on her jacket here? Like up at her shoulder, right above her bosom. Yeah, those are actually sculpted in there. That's not just painted on there. That's sculpted onto the figure and then has a paint application on top of it. And then this armband has a diamond sculpted into it. And this armband... Sorry, it's trying to get it so it'll focus on the figure. This armband has a little star on it. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then underneath her jacket, she has a red and black corset, and you can see it alternates the pattern of the jacket, whereas the jacket is red on the right side and black on the left side. The corset is black on the right side and red on the left side. But it looks like the black side does have a little bit of red trim on there, so it's not 100% even. And then as we go down her legs, we can see there's a, looks like a strap around this leg, but it's not painted in, unfortunately. And then over on this leg, we have a typical Harley Quinn diamond pattern. Now, what's interesting about this one is it's a diamond pattern that's 4 diamonds, whereas usually it'll be a diamond pattern that's 3 diamonds, which we can see on the knee pads here. That looks like she has the 3 diamond pattern on each of these knee pads, and they're both mirror image to each other. If I can get it to focus, you can see that a little better. And then another star on her left calf, and more diamonds on her right calf. And then, of course, red and black combat boots. So, since this is like a little bit more of a modern interpretation of Harley, it's not quite the jester's motley of the classic version, but I think it's still a pretty sharp costume. She's got one of these big holes in her back, so you can stick a backpack in there. This is pretty similar to the costume that she wears in Injustice, which is probably my favorite version of Harley Quinn anyway, from the Injustice comic book. But in the Injustice comic book, she has like a bat symbol on the back, which is like a bat symbol that's overlaid with her little Harley diamonds to show that she is now allied with the Batman. But, you know, this probably isn't supposed to be specifically an Injustice Harley Quinn anyway, so it's probably a good idea for her to not have a Batman emblem on her chest, because the Joker might not like that. So she seems to have pretty much the typical articulation of these Spin Masters figures. Got a ball joint up here for like a nice range of motion. There's a ball joint at the elbow, but these are really stiff, and since she's a female figure, that means these joints are probably not very, sturdy. They're probably going to be a little bit thinner than the joints on the male figures, so I don't want to force them. So I'm not going to try to move the elbows right now. Once this video is over, I'm probably going to hit her with a hairdryer, and then I should be able to move them. Remember, never force the joints on your action figures. If you have one that's stiff, try hitting it with a hairdryer or dipping it in some hot water first. Soften up the plastic, and then you can move it. Also, putting it in the freezer is another good trick. So, her hips are ball jointed, giving you a nice range of motion there. There's no articulation in the torso, no waist swivel or, you know, mid torso pivot, whatever they call that. Um, and the knees are ball jointed, so there's a good range of motion there. Now, also, like I said, in keeping with the articulation scheme of these figures, does not have any wrist articulation, unfortunately. Does not have any sort of ankle articulation. If there's one thing that I think would vastly improve these figures and just take them up to the next level in terms of quality, it's as if they would add some wrist articulation to it. I think that would make these figures just that much better. But as it is, I really like these figures. They certainly have a nice sort. They kind of feel like superpowers to me in a way, which is, I know that sounds like really high praise, but it does kind of feel like if somebody was making superpowers today, how they would make them. I would not be surprised if superpowers was a big inspiration for this line. And of course, it's more modern interpretations of the characters than like 80s interpretations of the characters, which I think is unfortunate because I kind of feel like those Jose Luis Garcia Lopez designs are like the definitive versions of the characters. I mean, like, you can see the big fig of Batman over there on my wall, so obviously that's a version that has a lot of appeal to me. The one McFarlane Batman figure that I bought was the blue and gray Batman, as I'm often fond of pointing out. So it's interesting to me also that upon closer inspection, I didn't really think about this before, is this isn't like a true black that she's got on her costume. It's almost more like a gunmetal sort of color. It looks like her belt buckle has a heart on it. So that's kind of neat. So overall, I would say Harley Quinn is a pretty great figure. What would make her an even better figure, like I said, is if she had some wrist articulation, but that's just kind of par for the course with this line. The sculpting is excellent. The paint applications are sharp and on point. They did a really good job, I think, with her makeup, although I think on mine, the eyes do seem a little wonky, like one's a little bit higher than the other. I wish I had noticed that before I bought it. I might have to buy another one just so I can have a better face. But, even then, like, I think this would be a good figure for using for customs and things like that. So, it's, I wouldn't mind having a second one of these that I can repaint. So, I wonder if this is a gun that came with other stuff. I'm trying to remember if maybe this is the gun that came with Firefly or not. Because, like I said, it does look kind of like a flamethrower. So, let's put the hammer in her hand and see how she looks with that. Unfortunately, I can't, like, pose it, like, in the optimal way because, like I said, the elbows are kind of frozen right now. So, going to have to wait until I can hit it with the hairdryer. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm not going to subject you to the sound of my hairdryer blaring because it is a very loud hairdryer. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for Harley Quinn. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know in the comments what you think of this Harley Quinn figure. Would you like to see a more classic style Harley Quinn where she's wearing the Juster's motley? I know I would. I mean, granted, this is a great figure as it is, but, I mean, you can't have too many Harley Quinns. Go ahead and do one in the classic outfit, too. I think a lot of fans would really appreciate that. So, and, a lot of fans would be like me and buy both. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for Harley Quinn. Take care, have a good day, and I will have another DC Universe figure in the future. Bye.